What's going on? Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, ladies, men of prestige family, welcome back to men of prestige. Today we're going to talk about, first of all, as you're coming in, make sure you're liking, make sure you're sharing, you're subscribing. And of course, today we're talking about polygamy, the solution to cheating. We're going to be reviewing a video by a young man, him500. It's a short clip that we have to review from there. All right. But in the meanwhile, let me just make sure that everything is going fine. Let's make sure that audio is perfect. We're looking good. We're looking good. Please go ahead and share the platform with people. Just share it. Just click the share button and follow through. Right. And let's get into the conversation. It's going to be fun as usual. It's going to be enlightening, I hope, because you're going to be engaging me. Okay. So let's get started. All right, all right, all right. Welcome back. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's make sure that you can hear me clearly. If you can hear me clearly, just let me know. Just say yes. Sound loud and clear. Let's just make sure the audio visual is working. Just to make sure I am not talking to myself. Welcome back. Welcome back. Prestige family, welcome back. Let's talk about polygamy. Let's talk about cheating, infidelity. Right. In fact, today I was just looking at the list of the top reasons for divorce. We should review that too. We're gonna review that really quickly. But let's talk, right? Also, I want to know what cheating means to you. What does it mean to you? It almost seems like I'm getting all types of conflicting definitions all over the place, right? So let's also talk about that because maybe it's different from you, right? For example, having conversations with, if your spouse is having conversations on a regular basis with people that you don't know personally, is that cheating? If they're having conversations they wouldn't want you to be exposed to, is that cheating? Or does it have to become sexual before you can define it as cheating? All right. I want to know what your thoughts are. Okay, that's what makes this conversation sweet. Welcome, welcome. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you're brand new here, go ahead and hit that like button. Okay. Let's get that like button up. Let's get it up. Let's get it up. All right. So we can let people know that we're hanging out here. All right. And also, if you want to, at any point in time, you feel like you have a question, you have a contribution, please feel free. I just already pinned the link to the top of the screen. Feel free to come in and let's talk about it. All right. Let's see here. Please, can you let me know if you can hear me clearly, loud, sound clear? Let's just make sure. Let's just see. I don't know. Let's see. I can't tell if my audio is good. Let's see. Oh, okay. All right. All right, good. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. It's gonna be fun. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, blah blah blah. All right. So today we're talking about polygamy. We're talking about solution to cheating. Question mark. Meaning, do you think if people are allowed to practice polygamy, do you think that will resolve the issue? There's something I want to review here really quickly. I'm gonna pull up the screen in a second, and we're gonna go through it together. Because it almost seems like the whole world is going mad. So you and I can do our own little part to see if we can help people with relationships. Um, I'm going to assume that, your relationships are perfect, right? Like you never really have to argue with your friends, stuff like that, right? I'm going to assume that. uh, you notice I just said friends, right? It doesn't really have to be a romantic partner. It doesn't have to be, right? It could be friends, it could be siblings, as long as it's some kind of reaction with another human being, then there's a relationship involved there, and your relationship will end up in the shithole all the time if you're struggling. Okay? And if you're not careful, you will end up being the one pointing fingers all the time. If you find that you're the one that tends to point finger all the time, there's a problem with that. Okay? Let me just go ahead and put this on just to make sure. All right. It looks like today all we have is monitoring spirit. I'm not hearing from anybody. Listen, let me just tell you right now. Let me just be upfront with you guys, okay? This platform was created last year October. Okay? Last year October. Okay? The idea here is to create evergreen content that people can always reference back to, okay? The priority is, if you're hanging out with me live right now, I want to take care of you. I want to make sure that you understand you can actually interact with me, okay? To get real-time responses, because I'm also learning, right? But ultimately, see, the priority and the ultimately is quite different, right? Ultimately, this is a library you can always come back to and say, hey, I feel like there's a topic on this platform that can help me with my situation. Or you can say, listen, I know a guy that touched on this before. I think you should listen to that 1 hour session. I think it will help you. So that's what this is about. Okay. There are some day ones. You see me shout them out all the time, right? The Saw Hills, right? Osmosis, right? Hour, shout out to Howard, right? There's some day ones, right? My brother at Information and Knowledge, right? There's some day ones. But in recent times, we've had the Obodo fams came here and took over, right? But just in the last 24 hours, we got monetized officially. And it's a beautiful thing, right? In about 2 weeks, we went from getting stuck at about 450 or so, 400 subscribers, straight to 1,000, right? So are we at the destination yet? No, no way. No way. Honestly, I don't know what that destination is. Frankly, I don't. Okay. I know I said earlier, okay, now I can afford, right? Let's be honest. I could always afford to come back here and just rant about relationships for 1 hour. And there's always that one or two people or three people that say, thank you, because I learned something new. I think we're going to continue that same thing because that's what brought us to this point. We're going to continue that same pace, right? We're going to continue to take trending topics, hot topics as related to relationships and continue to learn without rushing ourselves to the process, right? We can't rush anyway. Life is one moment at a time. It's one of the things you need to understand about relationships, right? So without any further ado, let's continue the journey. If you're here, if you're 2, 3 people, if you're watching the rebroadcast later, I appreciate you all equally. Okay? I appreciate you. The bottom line is that these videos are here publicly and you can always reference them back. All right? So please be comfortable. Be comfortable to be where you are. Come here and, soak it in as you deem fit. Yes, we got monetized this morning. And it's a fantastic feeling to have put up, I don't know, at this point. Let me tell you how many videos on this channel so you can have an idea of how far we've gone, right? Right now, as I'm recording this, I have 8 people watching me live, right? Sometimes it used to be 0 people watching. All right. And I would sit here and I would do 2 hour session, sometimes 3 hour session, sometimes put out a 10 minutes video, right? And I've been tempted a few times, like, oh, maybe I should be a little bit extra polarized. Maybe I should be controversial, right? But let me not cap. First of all, I'm not a controversial person. That's number one. Number two, I've seen controversial. I've seen them on a consistent, ongoing basis. They don't end up well. They don't end up well. Okay. So we're going to stay in our lane and continue to do what we do. There are 313 public videos on this platform. Probably a few that are private. Okay. So we've done 313 videos on this platform. Think about that for a second. Right? So no, we're not going to stop. Having 8 people watch me live is like, oh, wow, to me. It used to be 0, 1, 2, right? Quiet crickets, right? But then they will come back. Sometimes the video we have at the end of the week to have only 10 views. It will have only 15 views, right? All right. So the new Prestige family, I appreciate you as you continue to come here. Okay. We will continue to adjust things accordingly as we deem fit. But our goal is to bring value into the marketplace and push them out there, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. So today we're talking about polygamy, the solution to cheating. Before I get into that, there's actually there's a question that I want us to address together. Okay, so either you're engaged or you're just listening. You're just, as far as I'm concerned, you're engaged. Okay, let's go here. Let me share the screen with you right now. And then we're going to address, first of all, the first thing I want to address is this right here. This is on nih.gov, which is National Institute of Health of the United States. Okay, that's where we got this from. Okay, and this is what they're saying the top reasons for divorce are. Okay, the first one is lack of commitment. Does anybody know what that means? Do you know how to apply this in your marriage? Because as far as I'm concerned, last time I checked, it looks like every marriage has at least commitment, at least on paper, right? These are 2 people coming together to commit to each other, right? So what do they mean by lack of commitment? These are the kind of things you can't get from facts, data, and statistics. Lack of commitment? Oh, lack of commitment meaning one person is reporting that, an individual, right, is reporting that as their reason for filing divorce. Even if it's not accurate, even if it's just how they feel. Think about that for a second. I want you to think about that. Where? One person is reporting this as their reason for filing a divorce. Even if it's not accurate, even if it's just how they feel, even if that's not the reality. See, when you go around the internet and you start scraping around statistics and data, you're only getting one side of a bunch of stories. Yes, a bunch of stories. Yes, numbers, a ton of samples. Maybe all 300 million people in America, right? Or in the United Kingdom. I heard earlier today that the number one in the United Kingdom is, I think they said unreasonable. Something like that. Something unreasonable. Again, extremely vague. We don't know what that means particularly. There's no story behind it. But yet, most people are going to run to the internet, look at this kind of information, and project it on their story and use that as, yeah, I knew it, because they could relate, because that's how they feel too. Right? The second one, infidelity. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here. Right? Infidelity, extramarital affairs. Right? Number 3, too much conflict and arguing. To me, that's the closest to any kind of honesty there, right? We do know that many people end up end up arguing way too much when complacency creeps in, right? When see finish creeps in, right? They start to argue with each other and they don't know when to stop, right? Too much conflict and arguing. Okay. All right. So, infidelity and extramarital affair, is that not the truth? Yes, that's the truth, right? But that's a symptom. That's a symptom. If you're here in this masterclass, that's a symptom. I know you can't wait for me to blame the cheater. Let's just call it out for what it is. You're right. The cheater is wrong. Now that I've called them wrong, does that really solve your problem? I'm guessing not. I'm guessing the cheater is not in this masterclass to hear me say you're wrong. Right? So there's more to it. And you're right, they're wrong. Right? Even if that's your one side of the story. Right? You're still right. But again, being right and being wrong, it's just that. You're just right, you're wrong. It doesn't solve problems. No, you're wrong, Ola. Calling it out for what it is does solve the problem. It does? Really? All right. You're still right. Right? I have to take your words, right? But there's no real life story to prove you right or wrong. So I'm going to assume you're right. I assume best case scenario is one of the skill sets you should have about relationships. If you have to assume best case scenario and not assume worst case scenario, which is what most people do. Now, that behavior is not just falling out of the skies, it's just what we do naturally until you decide to work on yourself and realize that that's not helping your situation. Assuming worst case scenario will basically create problems. Shout out to Kenneth. Will create problems that you don't have, that you may not have. Maybe you have it, but you may not have it too, right? We don't know. Remember, they're assumptions. Getting married too young. That's precisely, okay, not precisely. That's probably a person who felt I should have waited to 35 to get married, right? They're regretting their choice to get married early. So that regret is now what they're writing down as their reason for divorce. They're not doing the work. They're not doing any root cause analysis to find out what really created the conflict. Like I said, the third one is probably the closest to any form of truth, right? Let me blow this up so you guys can see it clearly. Just to make sure you can see it clearly. Hopefully that's better. There you go. Financial problems. Of course, there's financial problems, but there are way too many marriages that are not necessarily financially straight, but they're straight. They're trying to figure it out. They're working together as a team. So again, this is a symptom. What exactly is the root cause of you finding yourself in a divorce court? The last thing this person remembers is the argument about finances and the fact that they're struggling financially. Substance abuse is a real thing, I agree, but as you can see, it's all the way down at the bottom of that list, right? Then you have the DV, right? That's all the way at the bottom of that list. A lot of people will assume that DV is at the top of this list without looking it up. They just assume it. Why? Because they've gone through it. So they just, unknowingly lie, mistakenly tell a lie, right? Health problems at the bottom of the list. Lack of support from family at the bottom of the list. Religious differences. Surprise, surprise. Just because you have a different religion doesn't equal to automatic divorce. At the bottom of the list. Little or no premarital education. Surprise, surprise. Oh, you should have known better. You should have gone to premarital counseling. There's a bunch of people not going. False. That's completely false. Most people go to premarital counseling. Okay? It just wasn't good enough, Bio Alpha now. How you doing, my brother? Good to see you, Bio. Good to see you. So surprise, 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 surprise. You know, how many people are surprised by this? Are you surprised by this list right here? Okay, the first column here is individuals, and the second column means at least one person from a couple said, you know, as we know, like irreconcilable differences or unreasonable differences, as they say in the UK, is the number one. It's just what people write down when they're just filling out the form at the divorce court. So again, looking up statistics online, the point of me showing this to you is that looking up statistics online and projecting it on yourself will not work to help you save your marriage if that's what you're trying to do. And worse, if you've decided that the best thing for you to do is to move on, which there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. I don't know your story. You're going to project this experience into your future relationships and then replicate the damages into that new relationship. So that's worse. Yes. That's why 75% as opposed to 50% of second and third marriages end up in divorce too. Because people don't do the work. They just rush into the next best thing. All right. All right. So the next segment here, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this question that came in. Okay. Would you break up with your partner over their family having different political views than you? If you could, I'll wait 30 seconds. What are your answers to this? Would you break up with your partner if they happen to be Republican and you're like, I'm Democrat? Right? Would you break up if you find out that your partner is a Trump supporter? And you're like, that man is evil. That man is just evil. He's a liar. He's a liar. Right? He's a cheater. He's grabbing them by the pussy. Would you break up because your partner has different, break up with your partner over their family? It's actually not them. It's their family having different political views than you. It's not even her or him or her, but his or herself. We're talking about their family has a different political views. Would you? Anyway, let's see. Shout out to you, fabulously Tolly. Lack of commitment is a surprise higher than infidelity. Yes. Plus, it's extremely vague. We don't even know what that means. Maybe that's irreconcilable differences. Bottom line is that list is BS, But they're gonna keep recording it for people that don't know any better, because again, they're collecting that data from people that are just filling out a form, looking for divorce. No, Catherine says no. You wouldn't break up. Kisata says petty. Yeah, that's petty. Right? No, their family's politics is their problem, not mine. So why would anyone even ask this question? That's the real answer, right? Right? No, let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. Some political views are extreme. Maybe they belong in the casa type of deal in their family. Maybe it's obvious, you can see it. Maybe by the time you get in front of their house to go do introduction, you see all kind of signs, maybe certain types of flags, and you're like, whoa, this is the kind of family I'm marrying into, right? Something that hits your core. People's political views is almost like religious views. People take these things very personally, right? So I guess it depends, but let's dive into it. There's more to the story, and I want us to dissect it together. Okay, so here's a full story. My boyfriend's parent would sometimes post about politics on social media, and it's stuff that I don't align with. Okay, so this is a woman, right? It gets me thinking about the future and if it would affect our relationship. So we have additional information. What additional information do we have? She's a woman. Okay, she's a woman. And we also know that it's not like they're engaged or anything like that. It's boyfriend, girlfriend, right? Well, in Nigeria, people would call their fiancés, depends on what part of the country, they will call their fiancé boyfriends too. Okay. Or they might call high school sweetheart boyfriend too. So we don't know, right? But we just know they're not married. We'll continue post. They post on social media. Okay. So usually this is some form of exaggeration too. It's just that one person in the family that she's following, right? That's posting this stuff, right? So it's not the whole family. Usually a family we have at least 4 people or more, right? So I can probably, if I was to bet on this right now, there's one person that's posting this stuff that's rubbing her off the wrong way. And she's taking it personally. So Kisata, you may be right after all. Let's go to the next segment. He's very close with his parents and tells them everything, which I like. But I also think this causes him to be heavily influenced by them. All right. So, wait till. So, heavily influenced by them. These are the people that gave birth to this man. Most likely long before, at least 13 years before you met him, he was influenced by those people. Let's just assume this is teenage, puppy love type of situation, and you guys are 13 years old. At least the first 13 years of his life, he's been influenced by them. So it is now that you're going to think he's heavily influenced. Surprise, surprise. Very close to his parents. Yes, normal people are close to their parents. At least one parent. Right? Tells them everything. Now, telling them everything, there's a good chance that he's not a matured man yet. He has too much time in his ends. More so like he has too much time in his ends. Because I have parents too. At the age of 42, I share some stuff with them, but not really my personal life stuff. Why? I don't have the time. I'm a busy man with my own family, and it's not because I don't want to share. It's just natural order of things. Even if I am that terrible, I'm not able to have the time to sit down and be sharing my personal life with my parents. So maybe he's immature and he has too much time in his hands. Maybe he's a teenager. All right? Maybe he's a grown man. There are a lot of grown men that can't grow up. Right? There are lots and lots of grown men that don't know how to grow up. They share everything with their mama. And it's, as far as they're concerned, it's a harmless behavior. They just be natural. Like, what's wrong with that? But that's my mom. What's wrong with you? It's my family. I can't share stuff. Right? But granted, boyfriend, girlfriend. Right? Boyfriend, girlfriend. Yes. It does sound very young. Fabulous Tully. It does. But let's keep going. There's more to this, apparently. I'm reading it with you for the first time, by the way. All right. I'm so conflicted because his parents have always been very sweet to me. It's more like confusion, right? And I enjoy being around them, but when I see this post, I start to feel anxious about making them my family. All right, so again, this is the effect of attachment to ideologies. Okay? Many people don't realize that politics and religion at its very core are the same thing. Okay? Politics and religion at the core are essentially the same thing. It's a belief system in ideologies, a set of ideologies, if you will. Right? So when you're attached to them, it clouds up your judgment. So clearly, what do I mean by cloud of judgment? When people are confused and they're conflicted, right? They call it conflicted, but something is clouding up their judgment. Usually is some kind of ideology, especially if nothing is really wrong. It's just a belief system that's making you think, maybe something's wrong. See, right and wrong is supposed to be common sense obvious. You can see when something is off and wrong, right? But when you had religion and you had politics to it, it's not so clear anymore, especially in the modern times, right? Back when religion was what was basically controlling people's moral standards and moral compass, it was easy. You're either from what I believe in or you're not. But in this time and age, people are a little bit more liberal. Everyone a little bit more liberal than they would be 50 years ago. Everyone is liberal, more liberal than they would be 50 years ago. That's when people say, I want a traditional wife, I laugh in Swahili. There's no such thing. I want a traditional man. I laugh in Swahili. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist. We all live in the modern times and we're all influenced by that. All of us. So that's what creates this confusion. I start to feel anxious about making them my family. Attachments, okay, they kill attraction. Attachments kill attraction. Okay? They do. When you're attached to ideologies, your own belief system, and you don't know how to break them down into pieces as it relates to unique situations, you will kill attraction and you will potentially kill a relationship. Okay? Now, you should believe in what you believe in. It's just if it's your value system, it's your value system. But it's very simple. Now you have to choose between your belief system and your relationship. And there's no right and wrong in that. You could say, you know what, I believe something different. I got to keep it moving. But it's not nice if you don't clear that up and you drag somebody through the mud for the next 5 years only to come back to the same place. Right? So I'm not saying one is right or wrong here. I'm just saying be aware that your belief systems, either political in nature or religious in nature, yes, can destroy an actually otherwise very good relationship. But your relationship without aligning with your belief system by default can just be a bad thing too. Because if you don't address it, it will come back and haunt you later. It might come back and haunt you later. But the core reason for that is the attachment to the ideology. Okay? Now, that's only if we're talking about the belief system itself. It involves people are being deleted, and of course, again, you get to talk to yourself and say, does this align with me or doesn't? You get to decide that because your belief system is just that powerful. Okay? It creates your moral compass too. So if you see something is wrong, it's wrong. If your mind is telling you something is wrong, it's just what it is. It's wrong. Okay? All right. Making them a family and the possible conflict it could cause in the future. So it's the same thing I say, should a Christian go and marry a Muslim? Should a Muslim marry a Christian? It's the same thing. It's the same problem that we're dealing with here. For some people, it's a big deal. For some people, like for example, my wife is from a Muslim background. It did cause some hiccup, but we've made it way past those types of hiccups, right? But yes, but like anything else, at micro and macro levels can create hiccups in a marriage. It doesn't mean the marriage is suddenly wrong. It just means there's an issue that you need to assess and come up with a solution. And it's better if it's a teamwork between you and your spouse, but even much more better when a man knows how to lead that relationship out of that situation. Much better when a man is capable and is equipped to learn how to lead that situation out of that funk. If your woman has to do that for you all the time, it will kill attraction and you will lose that relationship eventually. Okay? Why has it got to be the man's responsibility? I don't know. Just ask Mother Nature and nurture and social construct, whatever. I don't know. But that's the reality. Or had any talks like that, so maybe it would just never be mentioned. Wait, you're trying to control other people not to speak up about their belief system? That's not going to work. And I could ignore those posts. Maybe that's a better idea, right? I don't know what to do, but for some reason, it turns me off from him. Okay? For some reason, it turns me off from him. So, again, like I said, attachments to belief system and ideologies will kill attraction. It's not a matter of fault. It is what it is. It's the way your mind works. Maybe whatever that belief system is, it's like it's a stronghold on your particular belief system, and it is what it is. You just have to make a choice. Okay, that's the reality about life. Again, what we believe in, especially if we've always believed in it since if we were born into it, and this is just what we know, of course, that will wrong you up the wrong way. It's the same core reasons even between race, interracial relationships. It's the same thing. Some people it's a stronghold on them. Some people it's not really that deep. There's no right and wrong. But you need to be aware of what you like. Yesterday we talked about preference. Make sure you look up that video and watch that video. That was a good session. And I don't know if that's fair since it's his parent and not him. You think? But then again, I've never asked him about his thoughts either. Yeah. Let me see. What are your thoughts about this, ladies and gentlemen? Hey, Hour, day one. How you doing, Hour? Good to see you. What are your thoughts? Let me know what your thoughts are about this. Let me just drop this really quickly. If you want to drop in emails like this, you want to send me emails, and you want me to address them on sessions like this, and it's always anonymous, just so you know. That's the word I was looking for. Let me just put this here. I'm gonna put this here. I'll put this email on the screen for you. Okay. You can send email to questions@ola.com. Okay. So it will be completely anonymous. We'll never mention names, but you can send an email. It's like free email coaching. Okay. You can send it to questions@lolaanola.com right there. Okay. So I'll leave that on the screen. As a matter of fact, let me add it to the ticker as well. Let's see here. How's everyone doing, by the way? Some of you guys came in late. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? If you have a better time of the day that you want us to do this and you want to be a part of this live session from time to time, drop that in the comments, drop that in the chats. Let me know. I will consider that those times of the day. Okay. I'm just going by what the algorithms is telling me in the analytics right now. That's what I'm going by, just so you know. All right. I'm going to put that here. Okay. I've added it to the ticker. So now we can always have it there. That's the email right there. questions@lolaanola.com. All right. So the topic of the day that we were talking about was this. Topic of the day is polygamy, the solution to cheating. If we suddenly legalize polygamy in Nigeria, depends on what kind of laws you're following. I'm not sure how that works in Nigeria. I know that the Sharia law, obviously, or customary courts allow polygamy as a practice of marriage in Nigeria. I know that if you go to the court system, the European United States copied constitution, and you go to the court system, I know it's illegal to marry a second wife. I think, I'm not sure how that works. I think if you go to the court and you do a court wedding, I think you're not allowed to take on a second wife. If you do customary marriage, which is a thing in Nigeria, I think you're allowed to marry me luluawi, right? So, and I think obviously if you're a Muslim, you can marry up to 4 wives, but I think there are stipulations around that in the Islam religion that you have to be able to take care of them, right? So if you can't take care of them, you're not supposed to, right? Most people that I see, the loud minority that talk about this on the internet, also seems to be they're using it to. It's almost, I always hear polygamy and cheating coming in the same conversation, and that's always weird to me. I'm like, polygamy and cheating. Is there a correlation between polygamy and cheating to you? Right? Is there a correlation? Let me ask you, ladies and gentlemen of prestige, is there a correlation between polygamy and cheating? And if there is, explain yourself. Men with 4 wives still have side chicks. Kisata, they do? I'm sure they do, because if they could have 4 wives, I'm not sure what exactly will be stopping them from having more. Is it because they believe so much in their religion and they're willing to abide by the religion? Do those people exist? Maybe. I think anything is possible. It would be nice to show us the video first to help the conversation flow better. Oh, that's a different topic entirely. Thank you, Maria. That's a different conversation. Still the polygamy, I'll show you in a second. You're right, though. All right. But I wanted to talk about what polygamy. Polygamy means taking on multiple wives. That's what it means. Okay. Polyamory, there was somebody that was here yesterday that said they wanted to talk about polyamory means taking on multiple husbands. I'm sure the fellas don't even want to talk about that, right? Right? So that's what it means. Cheating, infidelity, right? It means activities that you wouldn't want your spouse to see, right? That's what it means, okay? It doesn't really have to be sexual in nature. We all like to focus on the sexual, and we all don't overreact unless it's sexual or it's potentially sexual in nature, right? So if your wife has this friend that you've never found out about, and she really doesn't want you to ever find out, if you find out, it's going to be upsetting, and she knows this. That will be cheating, okay? Cheating you out of the choice or the options to make that choice. Like, yeah, it's okay to have that kind of friend, right? But she has a reason why she has that friend, and she doesn't want you to know, right? It could be a girlfriend too, right? It could be this girls trip that was supposed to be a family reunion, but you found out it was a girls trip, right? It could be she never did anything on the trip, but the bottom line is that you couldn't find out, and if you found out, you would be upset, right? But of course, let's not be disingenuous. What most people mean by cheating is sexual in nature, right? Let's not be disingenuous, right? That's a big word on the internet these days, right? Yes. So Fabulous Tolly says some men believe that they are not built to be with one man. Yes, we should talk about this. Absolutely. That, in my opinion, is the foundation of polygamy. Well, polygamy has a real history, okay? There's a bunch of theories around it. Nobody really knows exactly. But what we know is that human beings are capable of being with multiple sexual partners. Human beings in general are able to do that. Are they necessarily going to exercise that? No. Is the social construct that we live in today making it harder to do? Yes. Because most people know that their partner is not subscribing to that nonsense. So, as a matter of fact, they think it's nonsense, right? So let me play the video. Let me keep holding you up, Marriott. Let me keep holding you up, and let's talk about this really quickly.
People really don't believe in marriages anymore. They believe in just like having a bunch of girlfriends and not even understanding what it really takes.
You talk about polygamy, right? Like, you think about people be like, oh, men, like, love to say, men wasn't made to be with one woman. Back then in the days, it's like, yo, back in the day, them was warriors. You niggas ain't warriors, y'all content creators. Like, most of these dudes want their women to be in a relationship and they want to have multiple women to struggle. Like, You want to put multiple women in their struggle and treat them like slaves. You don't want a reality and say, yo, I want to provide. When I married my wife, I gave her a pink Bentley, a pink Birkin, and a pink AP on our wedding day. Ain't no way I'm doing that 3 times. Ain't no way I'm dealing with 4 different periods. Ain't no way that I'm dealing with having to learn and adapt to 4 different people that's going to see a different weakness in me. I'm not having to take 4 different women shopping and provide for them adequately. I don't want 4 different women to be, I'm going to be out here, AP, chain, and I can't afford it for them. So y'all got to get the Movado. Nah. If I got the AP, my wife got to have the AP. She got to have everything that I want and everything that I desire. And if you don't desire to give your wife every single one of them the same thing that you desire in life, and you on that status to be able to do that, and stop thinking with your dick.
Like, people really don't believe.
Wow. He says, stop thinking with your dick. Now, the truth is that he made some good points, but then it was all materialistic, right? It was all materialistic. That's the video for you, Maria. It was all materialistic. And we tend to move these conversations about relationships in materialistic direction all the time. And this is where we fail, right? But we can use the same concept used with emotions. Do you think, I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen of Prestige right now, do you think a man can be in love with 2 women at the same time? Equally. So let's call the pink Bentley, like you said, right? And the AP watch. Let's say that's being in love with your wife, right? Being able to take care of your wife emotionally, right? The same thing is applicable for polyamory too, right? Can you be in love with 2 men at the same time equally? And if you could, right? If you could, right? What is D'Souza? Welcome. I think I was talking about you yesterday, right? If you could, how exactly are you measuring this equality or equity? I'm sure somebody's going to be like, equity, not equality, right? Are you able to serve 2 people in that manner equal at the same time? Now, my grandfather had 6 wives, 5, which I knew. And there was not one day, I can't recall, and I spent a lot of time with my grandfather and my grandmother in that family house in Ogbese. Growing up, I spent a lot of time there. I can't recall one moment of interaction between him and any of the wife. Maybe slightly the youngest wife. Maybe she brought the food and put it on the table for him. Maybe. It's very blurry. But I can't really recall any interaction. Now, the youngest wife passed away at one point, and I saw more interaction between him and my actual grandmother, who is actually the second wife. But more so like a friend type of relationship. I'm trying to remember right now. And more so because she was the only one left in the house. It's either some people, the first wife lived in a different village entirely. She was still a wife. It's a little blurry. But you get my gist there, right? Can you really serve 2 people emotionally at the same time? Polyamory, we both deserve a side piece, D'Souza. Let me ask you, ladies and gentlemen, Prestige, a question. Is that still a marriage? If both of you need side pieces? I guess it is, right? Because what makes it a marriage is the paperwork, right? But what exactly will be the advantage here? Is that to avoid cheating? Is that the solution to cheating for you, D'Souza? I would like to know. Would that be the solution to cheating, right? Kiseta say it's not possible. I'm guessing serving 2 people emotionally. Because this guy could get rich tomorrow. Him500 could get rich, right, tomorrow. and be able to afford 2 pink Bentleys for his 2 girls, that means he can marry the second wife. Is it built to do that? Let's forget all the materialistic thing. I'm willing to bet that this guy is not built to take on the second wife. I don't care if he can afford 10 Bentleys. I believe that what he was saying actually is a justification for what he's actually built to be, which is a monogamous guy. Like he's a one-woman type of guy, right? Now he made some good points. A lot of men fantasizing about polygamy, and they can't even finish taking care of one girlfriend emotionally. No two people are alike. It's not possible. No, Allah, the heart is for one. The heart is for one? Really? I can't. But some of us have 2 children, 3 children, 5 children that we love equally. These are the arguments that I'm hearing out there. Are you saying this is completely impossible? We can't translate the same energy into romantic partners? Right? Right? All right, so these are some of the things, the conversations. A marriage based on honesty, no lies and cheating. Like some of you have been here long enough to know my take on honesty. I do think honesty is necessary. Right? But what I question is our capabilities of being honest in the most purest form of it. The most purest form of honesty to me is you factored in your emotions. Sometimes there are 2 people living in the same space and they have 2 different experiences, and one person end up calling the other person a liar because what they recall is completely false. Completely. And they're both actually attempting to tell the truth. It's just that they have 2 different experiences. You're a liar. My mom never said that. My mom never called you a hoe. Well, she might as well call me a hoe. She talked about my 2 ex-boyfriends. How did she know about my 2 ex-boyfriends? Well, you said she called you a hoe. Well, she might as well call... Okay, you see what I'm saying right now, right? No, but you're a liar. You're a liar, right? That actually is obvious that these are 2 different stories. Some of them are not that obvious. And people are actually trying to tell the truth. So, honesty in its purest form, exactly what are you sugarcoating? Exactly. Now, some people will give another disingenuous, in my opinion, argument and will say, hey, I just, we can just tell the truth. And let me know if you want a side piece. I'll be okay with that. Okay, forget that for a second. Let me know if you want a side piece. I'll be okay with that. Can I approach you with my full chest? What if I'm afraid of losing you? What if you're afraid of losing your husband? How many of you are listening to me right now and you think it would go well if you go tell your husband? Like, you didn't even say you want a side piece. You're just like D'Souza. You're just like, why don't we both have side pieces together? Let's just be honest. Let's build our marriage on honesty. You're being honest. You meant that. Right? How do you think that conversation is going to go if we're talking about average human being? I'm curious. How do you think that conversation is going to go? He's going to be like, yeah, my beautiful wife, my beautiful queen, thank you for being honest with me. Some of these other people are just going to go ahead and cheat on their husbands. But you're dear to my heart because you came to me and you told me the truth. Yes, we should take on side pieces. Sorry about the frozen camera. Right? Is that really how that conversation is going to go? Now, I am aware there's certain people with certain types of lifestyle and they're already aware of this kind of situation. But that's the minority of people, the minority of minorities of people. Right? It's impossible. The social construct is just different. Most people are monogamous in nature. including cheaters. Cheating has its own lane. The practice of monogamy or polygamy they are parallels. They don't merge, right? They don't merge together. If you have 4 wives and you're literally practicing that, right? I think it's still a commitment, right? To be faithful to all 4 wives. And if you're going to do anything extra, they're supposed to know about it, right? Shout out to Cheeky. Cheeky, what's going on, Cheeky? Cheeky's a day one, by the way. What's going on, Cheeky? How you doing? Yeah. So it's a disingenuous conversation for the most part. I do know there's the minorities and the minority of the minorities that want this kind of stuff. And they usually what they do is they find that kind of community, and it's easier to have those conversations in those kind of communities, right? And it's not necessarily dangerous. Some people say it's dangerous, and it's not necessarily dangerous. It's just that you're not familiar with it. So of course, remember that belief system thing? It kicks against the idea that you're sharing another human being because you own them at the back of your heart. You own them. Right? You own them. So you couldn't share them. The truth is that some people have managed to find a community where they practice this weird shit. Yes, it's still weird. And they figured it out. And when you're having a conversation about this, just say this. Yeah, I can't relate. I can't relate personally, right? But there are people that have figured that out, and they're never going to be the majority. Let's be honest. Okay, there's a reason why the social construct has gone in the direction it's gone right now, right? Obviously, it's less chaotic. Like, even if you have cheaters, right? Which is wrong, right? But there's a construct. There's a structure to the family structure that we know today is one man, one woman. They're working together. The economy is built for it. Most government institutions are built for it. And when children are raised in this type of environment, they tend to come out better. They get the attention they need, right? And it is what it is. So my verdict. No, it's not a solution to cheating. Cheaters they will cheat. It's just what it is, right? They have other reasons. It's not because they're not really a monogamist. It's because there's a void they're trying to fill. It's still wrong. There's a void they're trying to fill. It has nothing to do with monogamist or polygamist. Polygamist is a practice, right? And if you can, with your full chest in 2022, say, I want to be a polygamist, just be exactly that and stop trying to recruit people, because I don't know, what's the point of recruiting people into that? See, now you only go do the polygamist. Just go knock yourself out, get 2 wives, 3 wives, whatever you want to do that, right? But it's not going to solve your relationship problems. If you have problems with relationships, if you have problem maintaining relationships, I can guarantee you have problem with relationships with your siblings, with your friends, at work. I can guarantee that. But more so in your romantic relationships, because there's no paycheck next Wednesday or next Friday. So you can't really see a short-term reward system. So now you're looking for all these different crazy ass talking points to justify bullshit. It's not gonna work. You're gonna hurt yourself. All right. That's it. That's what I have for today. Jojo is saying good morning to me. Oh, good morning to you. Yeah, we're in the afternoon over here on the East Coast of America. Cheeky, the wise man among fools. I have listened to Cheeky. Cheeky is a very wise man. And he's weird because he's a young man too. But one of the many beautiful chat ladies, D'Souza, that means you must be a day one. Maybe not. Because I thought you were part of the Obodo fams. But maybe you are, you know. There's 2 words that the Prestige family brought together. But I'm happy to have all y'all here, man. How loyal are the men, though? That's a generalized question, though. I don't know. How loyal are the men you're attracting? That's the question. There are loyal men out here. Okay? They're the quiet majority. The loud minority may not be loyal. They may be trying to push an agenda. The loud minority may have had, may have been spouses to people that are ladies that have had bad experiences and making the noise online. But be aware that there are people like what you're looking for out there. Just pay attention to your circle and your personal abilities to discern, right? That's still not guaranteed that things can change in the future. That's why you should focus on today and nurturing a good relationship today. All right. Let's see. To one good woman. All right. All right. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen of Prestige. I appreciate you for stopping by today. This was awesome. Like I said, we just got monetized. So we are definitely not stopping. 1,000 subscriber, no be beans. It's not your mate. Okay, we did it together, and we will continue to build the platform. We'll continue to have these conversations. Okay, we have more coming. Okay, as a matter of fact, all my Obodo fans that are here right now, I'm going to round this up because Auntie B is opening a room. So you might want to stop by there. I'll see if I can stop by too. I know women cheat around the same rate, so I'd say neither. Yeah, we don't. We don't know. Shout out to you, everyone, ladies and gentlemen of Prestige. I appreciate you for stopping by. Tomorrow we're talking about. Let me see what we're talking about tomorrow. That's gonna be an interesting conversation. That's gonna be an interesting conversation. Oh Lord, we're talking about restroom. What relations does restroom have to relationships? I don't know where I'm going with this. Honestly, I forgot where I created the topic for, but I will remind myself by tomorrow. I just know it's going to be interesting. So make sure you stop by tomorrow. I think it's going to be 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Nigeria, UK time. So make sure you stop by, okay? And yeah, shout out to you. Ice, did you come late? I think you came late. Yeah. Yep. Obodo fam, we're meeting in the other room. Thank you so much for hanging out here as usual. All my day ones, Obodo fam, the Prestige family. Thank you so much. I'm always going to appreciate you being here because honestly, it makes the conversation that much more better. All right, so I appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. Hopefully, you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.